weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the message line at 936-647-3776 to take your first step into the radio world.
You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZWLP Conroe and 106.1 KZCCLP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Hello, and welcome to Conroe Culture News. I am Margie Taylor, your host today, and we are so excited to be live. You can listen to us on Conroe Culture News on Facebook, FM 104.5, 106.1. You will see it on Our City TV, cable TV, and it's live streaming also on irlonestar.com out of downtown Conroe in our new media TV radio station at City Hall. The guest today in our first segment will be Jay Wright. He's a candidate for justice at the Ninth Court of Appeals. And in the second segment, we will hear from Lindsey Rogers, who's with Boots for Troops. And that all seems very suited to today, President's Day. So, the show is sponsored by Roger Stein Chiropractic and Team Sinisi Real Estate Group. Roger Stein Chiropractic has been voted the best chiropractic center in Montgomery County for many years. They are located at 3033 West Davis by Conroe High School and Taco Bell off 105. You cannot miss them. She has been practicing for many years, and she treats anyone from infants to seniors, weekend athletes to professionals, with a focus on natural, holistic healing to not only relieve pain, but achieve optimal health. She works on adjusting extremities, clinical nutrition, prenatal, and pediatric care. If you are a new patient, it's only $25, and it goes back to CASA to help kids that are in CPS custody. Again, that's Roger Stein Chiropractic. This is also sponsored by Team Sinisi Real Estate Group, and the interest rates are going up. Have you been paying attention? You need to jump on this. So whether you're investing, buying, or selling a home, call 281-507-9777. Team Sinisi, because it's Sinisi name to remember. So a few things that are happening around us. Wow. As always, February has just flown by. So you may know or not that it's also time to vote. It is early voting period, starts tomorrow, Tuesday, the 22nd, through Friday, the 25th, and it is open. The polls are open 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at 11 different locations. And if you're used to voting downtown Conroe at the Allsworth building, you need to go to the Central Library now, because that is not a location, and that is at 45 and Metcalf. So the polls are open 7 to 7, 11 locations. You can go to mctx.org/elections to find where the best place that's easiest for you. But you do not need to go to your polling box. Any of the 11 locations, you can go and vote until next Tuesday, March 1st, which is the primary election day, and the polls will be open 7 to 7. And there are over 100 polling boxes. I'm sure our first candidate here, Jay Wright, will tell us more about that. Anyway, so that's very important that you get educated before you go vote. So what else is happening? The Drowsy Chaperone has its last weekend at the Crichton Theater, and it ends on Sunday, February 27th. You can get tickets for that at crichtontheater.org. It's a great show that takes place in 1928. And, of course, there's Prohibition and other things that follow. And the Owen Theater will open their 3-week performance of Disney's Newsies. And that is a really fun musical show with a lot of kids involved. Fantastic dancing, and it tells the story of a teenage newsboy who rallies other newsies to strike against unfair conditions. You can get tickets for that at owentheater.com. The Young Texas Artists Annual Concert and Award Show will be back March 12th. They have not had this show in over 2 years because of the pandemic, so they are back. And prior to that, they will have the Bach, Beethoven, and Barbecue Gala. Again, that is March 12th. If you want to know more information, you can go to crichtontheater.org and look that up. The audience will participate in part of the award ceremony for different criteria. I believe there's like 8 different categories, including piano and voice and percussion and wind, all the different ones. Also, March 19th is a new event. The Greater Conroe Arts Alliance is putting on the Greater Conroe Arts Festival from 10 to 5 on Saturday, March 19th. It is absolutely free. It's going to be over at Founders Plaza, and it will include a community art mural, a kids art village, plain art painting, the farmers market that normally takes place at 9 a.m. till noon will be extended till 5 p.m. There will be food trucks, a Lego build-along, building a large Lego display. How fun is that? And it's all going to be in downtown Conroe, again, at Founders Plaza free. There are 2 ticketed events. There's one at 2 o'clock. The Rosemary Clooney story will be at the Owen Theater, and that's hosted by the Players Theater Company, and it will end with the legendary Texas-born, Louisiana-raised piano songwriter and rhythm and blues vocalist Marcia Ball. So this was supposed to happen in 2020, and obviously it didn't happen. So it's been postponed for 2 years, and now it's going to happen. Again, that is March 19th, and it's a collaborative partnership by the members of the Greater Conroe Arts Alliance, whose mission is to actively promote and support the arts. And there's like 18 organizations that are part of this. There's the Players Theater, the Owen Theater, the Conroe Art League, the Jazz Connection, the Heritage Museum of Montgomery. You can go to the Greater Conroe Arts Alliance.com and see more information and other things. So with that, I also want to encourage you people that like crawfish to get it now. It's in season, it's plump, it's juicy, and it's $8 a pound at Pacific Yard House. So we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back with Jay Wright.
Since 2004, Roger Stein Chiropractic has offered spine and joint manipulation services to residents of Montgomery County and surrounding areas. Conditions treated include lower back pain, migraines, headaches, whiplash, carpal tunnel, neck pain, sciatica, joint pain, sports injuries, herniated discs, and complications from pregnancy. Roger Stein Chiropractic, led by Dr. Stacy Rogers and Dr. Brian McGee, is an integrity-verified chiropractic clinic. Call 936-441-9990 for an appointment, or visit rogerssteinchiropractic.com. That's RODGERSSTEIN chiropractic.com.
Team Sinisi is a proud sponsor of Conroe Culture News. Vinny Sinisi and his professional team provide comprehensive real estate services throughout the greater Montgomery County area and beyond. Whether looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, Team Sinisi has an impeccable reputation. Contact Team Sinisi for a great experience at teamsinisi.com. That's TEAMSINISI.com.
Okay, so I am sitting here across from Jay Wright. He is an attorney and a candidate for justice, the Ninth Court of Appeals. You can find information on him on Facebook. Just, Google Jay Wright in the search box, Ninth Court of Appeals. And he also has a website, jwrightcampaign.com. So, Jay, tell me a little bit of background about yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you and your sponsors for having you on. You have a really neat show, Margie. I am born and raised in Corpus Christi, and my wife was also born and raised in Corpus Christi until first grade. Then they moved to Ingleside on the Bay, which is the same thing. It's just on the north side of Corpus Christi Bay. And we were both baptized at St. Patrick's Church. We both made our first communion and confirmation at St. Patrick's Church before they moved to Ingleside. And my wife's a little older than me, so she was in grade school, at least in first grade before they moved, with one of my older sisters. And we didn't know that until about a year after we married. Well, it was Easter, we were together, and they started talking about having the same teacher.
That's funny.
And they didn't even know it. We had gone through a wedding and everything.
Wow.
And so we're old Corpus Christi folks, but a lot of my family has moved away from Corpus Christi. And my wife's family, which had been from Corpus Christi, her oldest brother had moved to the Woodlands in 1990 with his law firm. He'd been to Austin, and then they opened a Houston office. And then my in-laws, who'd retired to Florida, decided to get closer to the grandkids, so they moved into Carriage Hills here outside of Conroe.
In 1488.
In 1995. So we started coming up and visiting, and we fell in love with it. I love the trees.
Oh, yeah.
Love the people. And so we ended up moving up here, and we put a contract on a house in 2000. I opened an office in downtown Conroe in 2000.
Wow.
And have been in downtown Conroe ever since.
That's the
And,
same year I moved to Montgomery County.
Yeah, and it's I've watched the growth and the development of the downtown area, and I love it. It's got the small town feel, but with the big city advantages, I guess.
Absolutely.
And so my practice took off when I got here, and I ended up shutting down my Corpus Christi practice. And I still do some cases down there with a friend of mine that we started first grade together. He was the best man at my wedding. And so he calls me to help him out with cases down there. So I do a lot of driving. I've had cases from, in the valley. I was in San Diego, Texas on a probate case.
There's a San Diego, Texas?
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that.
Oh, that's the
Wow.
infamous Duval County.
Oh,
That had the
interesting.
voting box that when LBJ said, how many more votes do I need? And he called down there, and they came up with the votes when he got elected to the Senate. I think it was 1948, something like that.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it's a kind of a infamous county, the Duke of Duval. And so I learned a lot about South Texas history growing up down there. I also learned that William F. Buckley's grandfather they were from Duval County. He and his brother were born down there. His grandfather was the sheriff in like 1906. They sent him up north for education purposes to get educated, and they ended up staying. And so the intellectual, William F. Buckley Jr., and his brother are actually from that county in South Texas. So some good things come from South Texas, I guess.
You like history too, don't you?
I love history. My undergrad degree, which was in political science from Corpus Christi State University, which is Texas A&M University now, if they awarded minors, I would have had a minor in history because I took a lot of history. But I ended up majoring in political science, and my professor there made me apply to law school. I wasn't sure I wanted to go. I did want to do something to help people who couldn't really help themselves. So I applied to law school and got accepted at St.
And where'd you go to
Mary's
law
and
school?
University of Houston, and did 82 to 85 in Houston. Got to know Houston to the point where I could drive it without a map. And then I turned around when I graduated and went right back to work in Corpus Christi. And spent most of the first 7 years with the Nueces County Attorney's Office. I had started in private practice, but since I was 26 and I looked 16, I couldn't get people to hire me to go represent them in court. So a friend of mine knew the county attorney, several friends, and they made me go apply, and I did, and he hired me. And I finally started, doing trials. And one of the first questions many times that the jurors had after they came back with the verdict, I was prosecuting, it was normally guilty, was, how old are you? How old are you? That's what they wanted to know. I'm like, well, I'd have to tell them. But I did well at that, and then when the criminal chief ended up leaving, my boss put me in charge of the criminal section, which was a little embarrassing because the other lawyers were older than me that I took charge of, but there I handled high-profile cases and tried to make sure the attorneys got to court on time and filled in things like that, and the paralegal staff and did office administration. And so after about 2.5 years, I was thinking about leaving, and the civil chief was leaving, and so my boss asked me to be the civil section chief. I thought, well, I need to learn some civil law. So I went to work as a civil chief, where I'd be advising the commissioner's court, defending the county and state and federal lawsuits, writing opinions for the different department heads, things like that. So it involved a very wide variety of things. A lot of EEOC law from the defense side, things like that. So my boss was moving up and running for DA, and it was all Democrats down there. I worked under a Democrat, and but he was a conservative Democrat, so he didn't mind having a Republican as his chief. But so I ran as a Republican in '92 to replace him, which was a bad year for Republicans. That's when Ross Perot was involved, and Bush Sr., God bless him, I love him. But he kind of brought the ticket down, and so I lost the election and went in January of '93.
So this is not new to you?
Oh, no, I ran at a very young age. We only had 2 kids at the time, and a third one on the way. And and I ran in a very heavy Democrat, area at the time, and slugged it out. So I went into private practice, and I started doing some of the same things I'd been doing. I had done briefs when I was with the county attorney's office, so I did appeals. I did criminal defense, didn't prosecute. I had a few times I prosecuted for the JPs because they were short on prosecutors. But basically, criminal defense and a lot of civil law, and lawsuits involving small businesses, defending small businesses from suits, accident cases on both sides, sometimes the plaintiff, sometimes the defendant, and EEOC cases, either representing the employee or the employer. Probate, I was surprised at a young age I got involved in probate cases. And
You've had a large variety of
so.
different kinds of cases.
Oh, yeah.
Is what you're saying.
Because what I have focused on is anything that's probably going to go to the courthouse, anything in litigation. And so when people have a real estate dispute that gets to a lawsuit, well, then they come to me. And so it's like, all right, you learn some real estate law
What do you
that
like
way.
best?
Well, what I like best in my 36 years now, what I like best was prosecuting.
Okay.
Because you had people because it's the state who's taking the case, it's not the victim, right? And the victim has very little say, really, in Texas law. Very little say. They get to do a victim impact statement. Now, when I started, they didn't get to do that, and so you are carrying the ball, and you are trying to get justice for them, even though it didn't happen to you or your family. And that is so rewarding. It's like, that's the reason I became an attorney. This is really helping somebody who's not legally in a position to help themselves and get any justice themselves. And
So you were prosecuting the bad people.
yeah. And, well, not always bad people. Sometimes sometimes good people make very bad decisions.
Correct.
Right? And maybe they have a very clean record, and it's out of character for them to do what they've done, and maybe they were under the influence of drugs or alcohol or something like that. Well, then, for those people, you could also step in and help them get on their feet and turn their life around. I remember we had a guy who was one of the best assistant city managers that we had ever had in Corpus Christi. But he had a drinking problem, and that was all there was to it, And after so many DWIs, they took his license away, and they said, all right, you're going to change, or you're going to go to prison, potentially. And it really saved his life. He stopped drinking. He physically looked better. He did his job better. And
So you helped facilitate that.
Oh, yeah, and
Well, that's
turned his
good.
life around.
Well, we need to move on to why, and what. What is this role?
Well, so what happens, I like to say when I was a kid growing up, young lawyers would go in and try cases, and then after they got trial experience, they would run for and get elected trial judge, right? And then when the trial judges tried cases for years and got experience and got older, then they would move on and they would become the appellate judges, because all trials in Texas, whether they're jury or non-jury, have a first right of appeal for either party that's not happy with the outcome.
Okay.
And so these appellate courts, they're called intermediate appellate courts. Ours is the 9th out of 14 courts of appeals around the state. So it's an appeal as a matter of right. Whether you have a justified reason or not, you can appeal. So our courts here, all the civil and criminal appeals, except for the death penalty cases. They go straight to Austin to the Court of Criminal Appeals. They don't waste time with the intermediate appeal. And so our court then, for the Ninth Court of Appeals, is 10 counties from Montgomery County all the way to the Louisiana border. You say to Beaumont, however, it goes further because it's Orange, it's Jasper, Newton County, it's
Right.
Hardin County.
I'm familiar with
It's
that
all,
area, yeah.
all those counties. So this court, since it was established, has heard appeals from all those counties, from county court at law or district courts that have trials, like say jury or non-jury, covering any subject. And so my concern is I want to make sure that if somebody is reviewing, both for my profession, for the Bar Association, and for the litigants, for the people who've had the unfortunate situation of having to have a trial and go to court because of some situation, that there's somebody with experience that is overlooking to see if the judge followed the Constitution, first of all, followed the law as they're supposed to, and then made sure that it was a fair trial, fair to both parties, and that normally involves the interplay between the rules of evidence and what's admissible and what's not.
So you review
like
all
that.
of the information on
Right.
the prior hearing, or trial, whatever
Yes.
it was.
Yes,
Okay.
and that's what I tell people when we're speaking to groups. It's like what the Court of Appeals does is read transcripts. They read transcripts. There's no witnesses, there's no live testimony. If a Court of Appeals needs additional evidence, they don't call people to come testify. They send an order down to the trial court that has the case and say, we need more evidence on this subject. You get it, okay? They never hear evidence. They only hear oral argument, and that's where just the attorneys, the parties are allowed to watch, but the attorneys are arguing what's in their brief and some of the subtle points and things like that. But there's no evidence taken by the Court of Appeals. It's all reading transcripts. And if you've ever read a transcript of a hearing, had a case or something, you understand that sometimes on paper it doesn't look or sound like really what actually happened. What you need, I think, is somebody who's been there and done that, who can read between the lines.
So you hear the emotions.
That's right.
So, because things aren't always black and white.
That's right.
So
And-
where would you do this? I mean, would you be in Montgomery County or in Beaumont, or where would you be physically?
In both places.
Okay.
What the court did several years ago is they opened some satellite offices in Montgomery County because most of the appeals come from Montgomery County. And so rather than have the lawyers travel to Beaumont for oral argument, they will have oral arguments here at the old commissioner's courtroom. And that way, it's just the judges travel and not all the lawyers, because they'll schedule them for about 30 minutes apiece, and there's one after the other after the other, and they'll
So
take
you'd
most
still
of the day.
primarily be local. So it sounds like this is an important role that people need to really be educated, because if they're ever in that situation where they need to have something appealed, you would be one of the judges who would
That's
read
correct.
it over.
Oh, and that's correct. And another thing I tell people is once the Court of Appeals rules, 99% of the time or more, that's the final decision on that case, because the higher courts, for criminal cases, it's the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals in Austin. For civil cases, it's the Texas Supreme Court. They only hear appeals by discretion. They don't have to take the appeal like the Court of Appeals does. And they pretty rarely will grant a review of
Okay.
a Court of Appeals decision. So 99% of the time, what the Court of Appeals says, you're going to be stuck with. And what people
So
don't
it's very
know-
important you get somebody who's very detail oriented.
Oh,
And
yes.
being that you have background heavily in looking and being a part of other legal transactions. And, I think it's interesting that you are all about history, because that's very detailed.
Yes.
You
Oh,
know,
yes.
you can't change history. It is what it is.
That's
And you
correct.
need to know the details. So you have that background, right? Is
That's
what I'm hearing you
yes.
say.
Oh, yes.
So that's very important. So why now? Why do you want this role now?
Well, the judge who's retiring is Justice Krieger, and it'll be 18 years that he's done a real good
Charles
job.
Krieger.
Yes, Charles Krieger. And I look around and I think, well, I think it's my time to serve. I remember I admired all the dads that were taking up the collection at church and ushering and things when I was a kid. And so when I got married and had children and we started going to church, I thought, you know what, it's my turn So I became an usher and helped take up the collection and seat people and things like that. And it's similar because I think with my profession, what I believe is as you gain the experience, I've done over 117 state appeal cases, done federal. I've appealed cases all the way to the United States Supreme Court. And so I think that I have the experience, and I think I kind of owe it to my profession, and I owe it, I think, to the people, to the litigants, that we should have somebody who's got the experience that replaces Justice Krieger and can kind of step into the role without having to do a lot of learning on the job. And so I think that's both something I owe the community and I owe the legal profession.
So you feel it's time.
That's
and
correct.
you're also you're very faith-based too,
Yes.
aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
So maybe this is your calling to move to the next level to help more people. So what are some important things that you want people to remember about you?
Well, I think it's unusual. When I went to law school at University of Houston, we had, I think it was 101 members in my section C. They had 4 sections, and all had close to 100 members at the time. And I noticed after the first year or two that most of the lawyers were going or law students, because they wanted to make as much money as they could as fast as they could when they got out. And that's not why I became a lawyer. I believe in the old style, that it's a profession. You're a lawyer 24 hours a day. You're doing it because you've been given this position by the Texas Supreme Court. They license you, right? So they hold you to a higher standard. And you owe a duty to the general public, and not only to your clients, to act professionally, to live up to that standard. And even if they don't have the money to pay you, sometimes you still do that anyway. And that's what's most important to me, is to help somebody who, again, they're not licensed, they can't represent themselves, they maybe don't have the education, and to help them with their crisis in their life, because that's when we see people. I guess it's like doctors, they only see people when they're sick, right?
Right.
And we only see people when they're having a crisis, whether it's the family law, which is horrible, that affects the entire family, or whether you're getting sued, or whether something bad has happened to you and the other side won't pay and you have to sue to try to get some justice. Or again, the criminal context too. If you're a good person that's done a bad thing, then we need to do what we can to get you turned around and minimize that. And so I have a very loyal, I think, clientele. I have a lot of people that come back to me. I still have people from Corpus Christi that call me and ask me to do legal work
It's
for
the
them and represent
relationships.
their family. That's correct.
They know you, they trust you, and they want to stick with somebody they know. They don't have to start over. They can just seamlessly ask for your assistance.
And some lawyers
So-
have given us a bad reputation. It's not a lot. It's
There,
only a few,
there's all kinds of bad people who do things differently. So you want to go with someone you know and trust, and that works for any profession, I think.
I think so.
Whether you're having somebody work on your house, or maybe you're looking for a PR person, or whatever the case
Hopefully,
is. Yes.
to get tailorized. Yes.
Yes, to get tailorized. Okay, so what have we not talked about that you would like to share?
Well, I have done community service. I'm with the Conroe Noon Lions that does great things. Wonderful group. I've been a night with my church at St. Anthony of Padua, Knights of Columbus, and they're a great bunch of guys. And we do tamale sales and the fish fries and things like that.
Season of Lent's coming up.
That's right. We're getting ready for the fish fries, and so everybody does their part. And it's great because they're family oriented, and they keep you connected with church. I talk about law school. I knew so many people in law school that quit going to church. Okay, and I thought of all times, this is when you need it the most. With law school exams and everything else, I never stopped going to church, and have never gotten away from it, and raised my family Catholic also, and so we participate in church activities and things like that. And I also try, frankly, if people are willing, when I'm counseling them on their legal matter, to also help them out if they need any help with guidance, scripture, things like that. We are not an atheistic profession, okay? Our Constitution was founded by Christians, and as a matter of fact, the number one contributor to the Revolutionary War effort was a Catholic man named John Carroll, who loaned money for uniforms and weapons and bullets and guns. He was kind of the Bill Gates of the Revolutionary War, and of the time, he was like one of the wealthiest men in the whole country. And so I think that my religious ideals and beliefs are those embodied in the Constitution. They were in the Declaration of Independence. They're in the Constitution. So when we talk about, First Amendment, the right to practice your religion, it's to practice it openly. And even if you're a public servant, you should not be barred from practicing your religion. Right to life is so very important. I'm endorsed by Texas Right to Life. Because I do believe in protecting life from conception to natural death, and I think these people that I think they're anti-religious that don't want to preserve human life. They're utilitarians. They're looking at what's the economics of it, of keeping an elderly person alive. We'll have to keep paying Medicare, and we'll have to pay Social Security. Well, yes, but life is up to God. It's not up to the government.
No, I agree with you on that. Okay, so in closing, what's the best way to contact you? If people have questions, can they reach out to you?
Yes, they can look at my website, which is jwrightcampaign.com. It's got a lot of information on there. My phone number is 936-494-2462. If I happen to not be there because I'm campaigning, leave a message and we'll get back to you. And I'm at 322 North Main. My campaign office is my law office that I share with some other attorneys. Right in downtown Conroe, just east of the courthouse, in the middle of the
near
street.
Mimi's on Main.
Right near Mimi's on Main. There we go.
And email? Do you have an email?
I do. It's jwright campaign. It's jwright ATTY at gmail.com. jwright@gmail.com is one of them. I have two on Gmail. The other is jwrightcampaign@gmail.com.
Okay.
And we check both of those. And anybody's welcome. I'll answer any questions and hope to get you satisfied before you go to vote. Because
Get educated.
We've got to do that, not only for March the 1st, but then I have a Democratic person on the ballot in November. So it's unusual. I think it's the first time in about 16 years there's been a Democrat run for this position. And so this is going to be a double header, as they say in baseball.
So first you got to vote in the primary, which you vote for whichever party affiliate you are. And that, again, goes on Tuesday, starting tomorrow through Friday, and then again March 1st. Is that correct?
That's correct. 7 to 7 on Tuesday, March 1st.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jay. Good luck in the primaries. And I know I'll see you around the county here soon.
You bet. God bless you, Margie. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Over 153 million orphans in the world today. The sad reality is 99% of those kids will likely never be adopted. Core Love is an organization right here in Conroe that takes care of orphan children in Haiti, Honduras, and India. We bring the love of Jesus by providing their 6 basic needs of clean water, proper food, healthcare, education, job skills, and a loving home. Visit corelove.org. That's CORELUV.org. Will you help defend the orphan?
Since 2004, Roger Stein Chiropractic has offered spine and joint manipulation services to residents of Montgomery County and surrounding areas. Conditions treated include lower back pain, migraines, headaches, whiplash, carpal tunnel, neck pain, sciatica, joint pain, sports injuries, herniated discs, and complications from pregnancy. Roger Stein Chiropractic, led by Dr. Stacy Rogers and Dr. Brian McGee, is an integrity-verified chiropractic clinic. Call 936-441-9990 for an appointment, or visit rogerssteinchiropractic.com. That's RODGERSSTEIN chiropractic.com.
Team Sinisi is a proud sponsor of Conroe Culture News. Sinisi and his professional team provide comprehensive real estate services throughout the greater Montgomery County area and beyond. Whether looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, Team Sinisi has an impeccable reputation. Contact Team Sinisi for a great experience at teamsinisi.com. That's TEAMSINISI.com.
Don't forget to download the Lone Star Community Radio app from your Google Play or Apple Store. Bring Montgomery County's community radio with you anywhere with your smartphone or tablet. If you are in the Conroe area, tune in on FM. That's Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1. If you are on the computer, bookmark irlonestar.com as your internet radio station. A Lone Star Community Radio. Broadcasting 24/7 from the heart of downtown Conroe, Texas.
So, in our second segment today, we are going to speak with Lindsey Rogers, who's with Boots for Troops. And it just kind of seems fitting, since this is President's Day, and of course that's why I have on this scarf, to talk about Boots for Troops and what they do, the programs they have. So with that, I am here with Lindsey Rogers. Welcome, Lindsey, to Conroe Culture News at Lone Star Community Radio. And again, I am Margie Taylor, if you are just tuning into this right now. And we're so excited to be live today. It's been a while, so we're excited. So tell me a little bit about Boots for Troops, what it is, how it got started, all of that.
Boots for Troops, we're all designed to help our active duty troops while they're serving, while they're deployed away from home. We're trying to provide the support to boost their morale while they're away. And my husband and I started this in 2015 while he was deployed. And, you know, he saw some things that we could do better while he was on deployment, and you know, our troops deserve the very best while they're deployed, and we can boost their morale and give them the support.
What branch of the military was he in?
He was in the Navy.
Okay. Yeah. And so it sounds great. So tell me a little bit about your mission, what you do.
So it's to uplift and empower the morale of our troops while they're serving and deployed.
And how do you do that?
We send customized care packages. Every single one is customized to that one person. We get to know them, ask, you know, what are their favorite sports teams, what kind of snacks did they like, and then we customize each box and we ask, what kind of boots would you like?
Wow.
Not to help with a supply issue or anything like that, but just to, who doesn't like getting a brand new pair of boots or shoes?
Absolutely.
So to help keep their feet happy and healthy and boost their morale.
Yeah, their boots are very important because they're treading through a lot of different things. So how do they connect with you to get these care packages?
They can go on our website, boots4troops.org, and themselves.
And that's for the service people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or, you know, a family member can go on and request for their loved one as well, but then we get the loved one's email and correspond directly with them.
Wow. Okay. So you have a lot of different programs.
Yes,
Tell me
ma'am.
about some of the other ones.
So another thing that my husband and I saw while he was serving was, you know, every time we wanted to go home for the holidays or a special occasion, flights are very expensive.
Yes.
And oftentimes service members, especially when you're lower ranking, you can't quite afford to buy a plane
They
ticket.
don't pay for those airline
No,
tickets?
not to go home on personal leave.
Okay.
So we step up and we foot the bill and we book flights for personal travel for the holidays and then for emergency situations.
That's interesting. So I saw on there that it says for E5 and
Yes.
below. What is E5?
It's a rank in the military. So when you first get in the military, you start out as an E1 and then you slowly work your way up to, you know, how you can go very high. But E5 is kind of that middle ranking to where, you know, they're making.
Is that an officer?
No, ma'am, that's enlisted, on the
Okay.
enlisted side of things.
Okay. And then you help with emergency travel assistance as
Yes,
well.
ma'am.
So you also take donated items. What is
Yes,
that?
ma'am.
What's entailed in
So
that?
if anybody wants to help contribute to our care packages, we start with the basics for what they like and what they request, but then we've got a big box. And we fill that to the very, very, very top. So we include qualities, always first, hygiene products, snacks, travel pillows, just anything cool that we think would boost their morale and they could use where they're at.
How often do
while
you
they're
do
deployed.
this?
We send out care packages all year round.
Because I know you've been pretty busy of lately. Is that what's taken up a lot of your time, getting
yeah.
these care packages ready?
Constantly send out care packages all year round. It's not just like during the holiday season.
That's good to know. And you're located in Magnolia?
Yes, ma'am. We're located in Magnolia, but in about a month, we're going to move into a new office in Tomball, right across from the post office off Main Street. So
Okay.
we're going to have a custom
You'll have a
care
brick and
packaging
mortar.
room. Yes, ma'am.
How exciting. Do you have a staff of people that work with you, or is it all volunteers? Or how
Yeah,
does
so
that
my
work?
husband, myself, and then Shelby is our operations manager, and then we've got just the best team of committee members for our big events, and then volunteers.
If somebody, would you take volunteers to
Yes,
help you?
ma'am. Absolutely. They can reach out to us at info@boots4troops.com or shoot us a message on Facebook.
Very nice. I bet a lot of people aren't aware of this.
Yeah, and we're still new. We started in 2015, but we're growing.
How do
so-
you get people engaged? What do you normally do to get people to know about you in the community?
Well, we started out doing trade shows and,
Okay.
Going and setting up and just getting the awareness out there. But now, we throw some larger events like a gala and then a concert in the country. And, the news is just kind of spread like wildfire. And we're very big on social media as well.
That's very interesting. I know I found you. I don't remember how I found you right now, but I know I did. And we were going to write a story, and I think that will still come to pass here soon. So you're opening your office, and is this like a public
Yes, ma'am.
event?
So anybody can come by next Thursday on March 3rd. We're having an open office, so people can come by and check out the new space. They can join our Founders Wall, so it's helping us gain the money to buy the office. And you can be a part of the Founders Wall, and we're going to have bricks on there with your name on it. So you can come by. We're going to have cocktails and appetizers for anybody who wants to come take a look and hear about what we're going to do with this office. And
Do you know
how
what
it's
the
gonna-
address is?
Yes, ma'am. 994 Village Square, Suite H in Tomball, Texas. Like I said, right across from the post office.
So they should be able to find it pretty easily.
Yes, ma'am.
So I noticed on your website it said that you're always looking for businesses to get involved too. What are some of the ways they can do
Yes,
that?
ma'am. So for businesses wanting to get involved, we throw a lot of events in the surrounding areas of Houston, and they can become a sponsor. We've got a golf tournament coming up soon that we're looking for whole sponsors for. They can adopt care packages if they want and put those together, help us with that. Or they can join our sports squad where they make a monthly donation and it helps keep those care packages going out all year round.
There's a lot of different ways.
ma'am.
You have a lot of different business sponsors. I noticed you have their logos all on your
Yes,
website.
ma'am.
So that's another way of sharing the support that you're getting from these businesses in the way of their sponsorships, dollars, whatever.
Yes, ma'am. And our sponsors, it's a beautiful thing to see how much they support each other.
It's very nice. Okay, so tell me about your Warrior Morale Project that you do.
So that's a travel assistance program.
Okay,
that we
so
do.
that's part of what
Yes,
you
ma'am.
already have said. But and then you have an Honor Our Heroes program.
So at all our local events that we do, we honor veterans, people that have served, and just our way of saying thank you. People may have forgotten about their service if they served a while back, and we just want to say thank you and show our appreciation.
And you also help with, you help with financial assistance for different things. I saw that you do something to help with possible service dogs too,
Yeah, so for the...
which is pretty cool.
Yeah, right? Who doesn't love animals,
I know.
especially our dogs? 2 years ago, we sponsored, it was a puppy, a cute little golden lab. We sponsored all of his training, vet bills, food, and everything for him to become a fully trained service dog. And he has just recently been paired with a Navy veteran, and he is helping that veteran's life in so many ways. It's incredible.
Yes,
we've shared the story on Facebook. And then again this year with the Light Up to Live Foundation, which is Randall Reed's charity, we're going to adopt another dog.
That's great. That's fabulous. I think what we haven't spoken about is your April 2nd event.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about that.
So for last year was our first year doing it, and this year will be our second in partnership with Moffitt Services. We do a big crawfish festival, and we call it Peel for a Purpose. And this year our headliner is going to be Tracy Lawrence. And we're having it's going to be a big concert event where you can come out, bring your family friendly, and try all different kinds of crawfish. So
Are there different kinds of crawfish?
Well, we're going to have five crawfish vendors. So,
okay.
Everybody has
They
a
have
different recipe.
way of spicing it up or whatever.
Yeah. So you can find tickets for that on valortix.com and come out and support. Your ticket purchase does help support the charity, and come out and enjoy some good music and some great crawfish.
So what's the most important thing you want people to know about your organization?
Oh, putting me on the spot here.
No, just random.
Just that you can never do enough to support our active duty troops. They do so much for us, and let's not forget about them. Let's support them while they're serving. So if we provide them that support while they're deployed, maybe when they get out and they come home, they're in a better spot, and they know that they're appreciated for what they do, because my goodness, some of them are 19 years old, leaving home, and have never been away from their family, and they need the support and the love from the American people.
They do. As someone who had a son in the Army, I can understand that. So it's boots4troops.com, and the same boots for, but only that one's spelled out, Boots for Troops USA on Facebook, but you can also just search for it and find it pretty easily. Have you connected with the Montgomery County Veterans Commission?
We have not yet.
Well, I can make that happen.
Awesome. I'd
So
love that.
we will,
Yes, ma'am.
we will do that shortly. What have we not talked about, Lindsey? Am I missing anything?
Not that I can think of. Just, if you want to attend any of our events, we've got a golf tournament coming up March 11th in Atascocita. We've still got a few team spots left for that. It's a really fun, patriotic golf tournament for those who like to golf, and really fun day to come out and get your golf game on, support the troops.
Tour 18?
No, Atascocita.
Oh, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Yeah, I used to live out in that direction. Okay, well, thank you very much, Lindsey. And I look forward to speaking more with you and connecting more with you in the future.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Team Sinisi is a proud sponsor of Conroe Culture News. Sinisi and his professional team provide comprehensive real estate services throughout the greater Montgomery County area and beyond. Whether looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, Team Sinisi has an impeccable reputation. Contact Team Sinisi for a great experience at teamsinisi.com. That's TEAMSINISI.com.
Since 2004, Roger Stein Chiropractic has offered spine and joint manipulation services to residents of Montgomery County and surrounding areas. Conditions treated include lower back pain, migraines, headaches, whiplash, carpal tunnel, neck pain, sciatica, joint pain, sports injuries, herniated discs, and complications from pregnancy. Roger Stein Chiropractic, led by Dr. Stacy Rogers and Dr. Brian McGee, is an integrity-verified chiropractic clinic. Call 936-441-9990 for an appointment, or visit rogerssteinchiropractic.com. That's RODGERSSTEIN chiropractic.com.
Second Saturday Divorce Workshop provides unbiased information to help you understand your options and move forward with your life. This divorce workshop is for you if you are contemplating divorce, in the process of divorce, already filed for divorce, or post-divorce. You will explore the emotional, legal, and financial aspects of divorce from professionals who have guided others through divorce. For more information on this divorce workshop, contact secondsaturdaywoodlands.com or call 832-375-0900.
I hope you enjoyed the show today. We were live, and I am Margie Taylor, your host for Conroe Culture News. The guests today did great. Please listen to Jay Wright, a candidate for Justice, Ninth Court of Appeals, and Lindsey Rogers shared information about Boots for Troops, a valuable service that they do to help our service people in all branches of service that are actively working for our country, basically, and help them feel that they are valued, and to uplift them and help them with transportation as needed in other programs they have. And remember, she has a March, she has an event coming up that will be on her Facebook page. She has 3 events. She has a golf tournament, an open house, and that is a week from Thursday. And then and Tomball at 994 Vintage Square, across from the post office in Tomball. And then they have an event on April 2nd, which is their concert in the country at the Texas Hideout in Hockley. So if you want more information, please stay tuned to Conroe Culture News, and we will be sharing this again later. Next week, this will be a replay of the show, as I have other obligations. So thank you for listening. I am Margie Taylor, Conroe Culture News.